Hey guys, so I have something really fun for you and me right now. I'm excited. I'm over the moon excited. So if you haven't seen Tiger King, first of all, what have you guys been doing with your quarantine life? You should have already watched Tiger King. It's crazy. One thing we all know, if you have watched Tiger King, is that Carole Baskin totally killed her husband and fed him to the tigers. I'm just saying that happened. Gosh, this is so good. It's all about this guy, Joe Exotic, and Carole, and they have feuding like sanctuaries, zoos, whatever you want to call them. There's other people. Like, listen, let me just tell you, if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Go watch it, then come back and watch this. So, Joe Exotic has a husband right now. He has a husband. They're still together. Joe's in jail, and there is a video out here, a video interview from his husband, of his husband, with Variety. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get the inside dirt, hear what he has to say. And I've got to admit, from watching this, I think his husband really actually truly loves him. Like, I'm not too sure about the other husbands, but this one, Dillon Passage is his name. I'm pretty sure he actually really loves Joe. He was getting like touched, teary and stuff, talking about him. I think it was in episode, I don't know, 6 or 7. I don't know. He was getting teary-eyed, and I was like, I think he really loves Joe. Aww. Like, my husband and I looked at each other and went, oh, he really loves him. So, anyway, I'm excited to see what he has to say. So, without further ado, let's get my reaction to this. I think it's like a 20-minute long video. It's like 18 minutes. So, let's do it, guys. All right. Let's check this thing out. Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
The phenomenon that is Tiger King. Could you believe it?
It's insane. It's insane. No, well, because originally, the show wasn't supposed to be about, Joe being arrested or anything like that. It was just supposed to be about, like, the big cat underworld.
Right.
So, he got arrested and, like, the whole story changed. It became, like, a completely different storyline.
Oh,
yeah, most of the stuff, they did the interviews with, like, Carole and Jeff and whatnot, but it became a way bigger deal once he got arrested. And nobody expected it to be, as popular as it is right now.
I mean, it has literally, you can't go on Twitter. That's what everyone is
it's
talking
so good.
about.
I know.
So what do you think
so
about the portrayal of everyone? What do you think about the portrayal of Joe?
I mean, the producers, Rebecca and Eric, they really portrayed everybody to be, exactly how they are, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I've met everybody except for Doc Antle and
for the
James
record, everybody's
Garrison.
crazy.
I haven't met him or Carole, but they really tried to stay true to the story and like the information that they could find out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like it was very authentic. Nothing was made up, and
That's crazy.
it was very accurate in my opinion.
How's Joe doing these days?
Oh, who's
I mean,
Joe?
considering where he is, a few days ago he was moved to a different jail. It was a medical facility in Fort Worth, Texas, and I've yet to hear from him. So
Mm-hmm.
what I've been told is that he's on like a 14-day isolation because of the COVID-19, the coronavirus.
He
So
has
I'm
the
still
corona?
waiting to hear back from him for that. But, once the show was aired, he was getting hundreds and thousands of emails from fans and people like showing their support for him, and I mean, he was really excited. I even would talk to him about some of the memes that were made and he just laughed his butt off. It was hilarious. He loved it. And I mean, Joe's the type of person, he loves the attention, obviously.
Right.
So,
I mean,
any
it's a given.
kind of fame or spotlight that he has, it was great.
Go to mamasgeeky.com for a bunch
Let
of
me ask
Tiger
you, Dylan,
Kings.
could you go into another area? Just the reception's a little off.
Oh,
You're sort of stacked.
Yeah.
If
One
there's
second.
another place. Sorry.
so yeah. If you want memes, go to
I'm
my
like
website.
outside right now.
Yeah, I got
Hold
you.
on. I can go.
Okay.
But oh my God, I can't believe the corona's got Joe Exotic. Listen, that's the worst thing
How's
that could
that?
ever
Is it a little
happen.
better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Okay.
So are you and Joe still married?
We are still married.
Yeah. So what was it that made you marry Joe?
So like there was multiple interviews that were not shown, and I guess this is going to be the first time that this was publicly stated.
I'm so excited.
but I was in a really bad place in my life, and Joe helped me get healthy again, and get in the right mental state. I felt alone and felt like there was going to be nobody there for me.
Aw.
And Joe made me feel like there was a reason to be alive, I guess. And
See, I think Joe's a
being
good
around
guy
the
at
animals
heart.
and being able to take care of newborn tigers, it was
Right.
like it was like an enlightenment, kind of like an awakening
Right.
period for me, and I felt like I had a purpose.
Mm.
And
Aw.
we had, at first it wasn't a romantic relationship.
Right.
It was more of a companionship. He didn't want to be alone, and
Poor Joe.
he just kind of helped me in like when I was in my darkest time. And I felt like it was only right for me to help him in his darkest time because he had recently lost Travis.
Right.
And I mean, I love Joe unconditionally and like forever. But yeah, that's kind of how him and I became, an item.
Mm. What'd your family think of him?
Oh, I bet they hated him.
Yeah, actually, my family actually really does like Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The situation is, they think he was stupid for what he did.
Right.
And, for involving himself in that and involving me in that, because I was absolutely clueless to that. When he got arrested, the arresting officers in Pensacola didn't even tell me why he was arrested.
Wow.
Oh,
And I had to find out when he went to his mediation,
Mm-hmm.
downtown. And so it was a shock to me for sure, but, I wasn't just going to abandon him when he needed help,
gosh, see,
Right.
he's a
because
good guy
he's there
too.
for me.
Dillon, you're a good
So
guy.
I felt only right to stay by him and not judge him for the circumstance because I understood his relationship with Carole,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very negative kind of thing. So, I mean, and he was in a dark place whenever all of this stuff occurred.
Right.
And, I mean, he just needed support, so we're just going to stay next to him.
So,
He's a good guy.
when was the first time you
Dillon.
saw Tiger King?
The first time I saw Tiger King, okay, so in the show, it was like the first date, right? Going into the snow at the parade, the Christmas parade. But I met him the night before, me and my cousin, who I was living with at the time in Ardmore, Oklahoma, which was about 30, 45 minutes away from Wynnewood.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the restaurant bar that he had, and he wanted to sing to me karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first time I met Joe, and then he took me back to the zoo because the bar was literally like half a mile away from the zoo. So he was like, hey, come back here, blah, 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 blah. So he just showed me around the house a little bit, got to play with some baby tigers, which was freaking insane, let me just tell you. And,
Oh, my God.
yeah, after that, I went home that night and then, took me to the parade, and then I just never left the zoo.
Wow. What do you say to people who say that Joe has taken advantage of straight guys?
I'm as gay as can be. I love men.
All right. I am not sexually attracted to females whatsoever. I mean, maybe sometimes, but like it's I prefer men. Okay, but
Maybe
with the
sometimes.
comments
What does
saying,
that mean?
does Joe take advantage of straight guys? I don't think so, because I have seen and met John Finley personally,
Mm-hmm.
and the first time I met him, he tried to hit on me, and that's not what a straight guy would do. Okay, Travis I'd never met, but from what I hear around the park, he loved Joe unconditionally. Joe, was there for him, and
Cause see, I don't know. They kind
treated
of
him like
it
a
was
king.
straight guys.
And from what I hear, on the show, people were like, oh, Travis was doing this, Travis was doing that. I have heard from multiple people that, Travis loved Joe unconditionally. Like, he never wanted to take his wedding ring off. Like,
Right.
he just, he loved Joe for Joe. He may not have been gay, but, I mean, in my opinion, that doesn't change the fact that you can build a connection with anybody,
Right.
It's true.
And, they had a very strong bond, in my opinion, not from firsthand, but from things that I've heard and videos that I've seen that weren't showed in the documentary.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't think Joe takes advantage of straight guys.
What about the drug use, though? There was a lot of drug use alleged in the documentary.
When I was around, there were absolutely no drugs going on. I mean, I smoke a lot of weed.
Okay.
And the thing is, I was addicted to Xanax whenever I first met Joe.
Got it.
And, you know, he never once allowed me to do that. And, you know, at first when I was there, I was like, hey, you know, kids, is there any way we can get this, we can get that? Because I had my marijuana, you know. And never once was that a thing, you know. Maybe, and Joe mentioned in the documentary, you know, he had experienced drugs and done all that back in the day. But when I was around, none of that was happening.
What about with Travis and John?
This is
I mean,
so
obviously
interesting.
weren't around when Travis was around, but, you know, the allegation is that he was plying them with drugs.
I mean, in the documentary it said, you know, meth mouth, and I mean, John had 2 teeth in his mouth, so
Right.
let's be real.
And what about Joe and meth?
teeth in his
You know,
mouth.
I honestly have no idea about that. When I was around, he never looked like he was on drugs. He'd wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, come home at 10 p.m. In my opinion, he didn't have time to do drugs like that.
Right.
All he did was smoke a lot of cigarettes and make it through his day. And he was stressed out constantly.
Right.
So, I mean, he had a lot on his shoulders.
What's life like for you now? So do you live in Florida now?
Yes, I'm actually living in Florida. I'm living in far west Florida.
You got it.
And
not gonna
I
say.
mean, I absolutely enjoy it. It's a really good time. I have good people around me, a good support system, and my family back home in Texas.
What do you do for work?
I bartend, but currently it's not happening.
Well, I saw you went river rafting,
Yes,
but you're not
and it was
supposed
a lot
to
of fun.
be. You're not supposed to be gathering in groups.
There was only 6 of us. That's the thing. That was the thing.
Mm-hmm. But what
Stay
about?
home,
But-
Dylan!
But now all of it's closed. I mean,
Yeah.
I've just been staying home with the dog, so.
And when was the last time you? So does Joe have COVID-19, or you don't know?
No, he does. From what I know, he does not have
Oh,
the coronavirus.
Right.
good.
But I know that, like, since it was in Grady County
Mhm.
Jail, where he was before he got moved, that this medical facility which he was transferred to, they said that it was a possibility that he was going to be put on a 14-day quarantine.
Got it. Got it.
Good. Phew, because I
When
was
the last
nervous
time you spoke to him?
for Joe.
I think Thursday or Friday.
And is he? I mean, I know he's in prison, obviously, but how do you even explain the popularity of Tiger King to him? I mean, he's getting these letters, but
He gets, what you don't understand is, like, he had a very large access to all of the internet and the media, and
so
like
he's
he
seen
had,
it.
yeah. So,
Oh, okay.
so he's had people like send him pictures, and like he gets hundreds and hundreds of emails, like just in the few days before he was transferred from the show dropping
Right.
on Netflix. He had received hundreds and hundreds of emails, and he said he was spending all day, you know, on the computer, like just going through these emails and like
Right.
trying to respond to people. And he had people from all over the world.
He responds to
you know,
people?
saying, oh, like Team Joe.
Oh, I'm
Free
going to
Joe.
send him an email.
Do you
Oh,
think
I'm
he was
totally gonna
treated
email him.
fairly by the justice system?
How do I find that out?
I feel like it's a very complicated
Oh,
situation.
I'm touching my face.
The prosecutor definitely allowed her witnesses to perjure themselves, knowing that they were lying because there was evidence given to the defense,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that proved otherwise. And the prosecution, you know, they have to have, they all share the same evidence,
Right.
you know. And so she didn't let Jeff testify on the stand for a reason, because she knew he was going to perjure himself.
Right.
And I believe this to be like 100% true.
Really?
So, I mean, there's, you know, even in the show, Alan, like, countered himself, you know. He contradicted himself, saying, you know, oh, I didn't go to Florida. And then while he's on the stand, he's like, I did go to Florida.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a whole different kind of situation.
Right.
And it's very
It's not
complicated,
just
and that's kind of what
worth a
this
dang either,
lawsuit
by
that
the
Joe's dropped is
Right.
mostly about, is that he was wrongfully accused and wrongfully acquitted, or charged, my bad.
I was like, of course.
And
When did that happen?
it's a tough situation. I feel like it could have been, you know, if it was investigated more,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just going straight off of what, you know, was said by all of the criminals, because everyone who testified were all criminals
Right.
and have criminal records.
I'm with you, Dylan. It's my
It was
thoughts
just a matter
exactly
of
while
taking
watching
Joe
this.
down because the Fish and Wildlife or Fish and Game, they had other motives. They did.
So if Joe was released from prison tomorrow, what would you do?
We would, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'd go pick him up. I'd go pick him up and he'd come live with me where I'm at,
Right.
and like this is our house and I have our dog, and I think his main goal would be to get his animals back because it was his dream and his brother's dream to have the zoo and to do something, and he spent 15 years doing it, 15 plus years, and his whole life's work was just taken away from him like that, and that's just
Sad.
it's got to be heartbreaking, and I was only at the zoo for like maybe 6 months, and I had my personal animals, and I lost my animals, and like
Right.
the babies that I had formed my bonds with and raised, and they were
Baby tigers.
super tiny, yeah. But I also raised a camel and
A camel?
lemurs and other things, and I lost them, and that's just after 6 months.
Wow.
Imagine how Joe felt after 15 years.
Right.
I know, poor Joe.
So what's next for you?
Honestly, I don't
never
know.
asked that question in
I
our interview.
really do not know.
What's
I'm
next?
just kind of taking my life day by day because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And I've learned that in the past 2 years
Yeah.
of my life, But I try to make the most of the situations I'm given, and I just try to live my life in a positive light.
Where's everyone else? I'm just looking up right here. Where is everyone else who we saw? I know one of the things that's been going around right now is they've been talking about Saf and Saf's gender identity. That the documentary was identifying him as a she.
You see, Saf, he identifies as male, and so I feel like that should definitely be respected.
Right.
And he's really a tough guy, and he stood by Joe's side through thick
One of my
and thin.
favorite people in the
Most people
documentary.
would not
by the way.
return to work after having their arm
Oh,
cut off.
no, and and then even after that, he went and worked at the bar when the cook quit, and then everyone else quit at the bar restaurant,
Right.
and Staff was the one taking care of it, like building stuff, like using a hammer and nail. Like, how do you even do that,
Right.
So kudos
That's
to him,
interesting.
and we weren't very close, but I respect him because he has always stood by Joseph's side.
Right.
That's the most important thing to me.
Why does Joe have so many supporters around him?
He's
Do you mean
charismatic.
like personally or
Yeah, personally.
in, like public? Because Joe he's honest to God, a really good man, and he has good beliefs, When people need help, he's the first person that they call, and he doesn't hesitate to say yes.
Right.
He's bailed so many people out of jail. He's gotten them vehicles. He has fed them when they had no food.
From a Walmart. truck.
I'd come home all the time, and people would be raiding our fridge. Mark Thompson, the police officer
Right.
in the docuseries,
Yep.
him and his wife would come, and I'd come home, and they'd be in both of our fridges, just raiding the fridge, And
What?
okay for them, but for them to say negative things about Joseph when all he's done was be good to them because they were kissing Jeff's ass,
Right.
Yeah.
it shows character for sure.
Well,
That's
Dylan,
crazy.
Thank you. Thank you for chatting with me. I have
Yep,
your number.
sure.
I'll call you. I'll text you if I have any other questions. I'm sure there will be.
Yes.
I know you mentioned you had some other phone calls going on, so you're looking at some Tiger King business.
Just some merch stuff, because there's a lot of bootleg stuff going
Right.
around right now.
Yeah.
People being selfish, so
This
Might
has
as well
to be a
give
wild
them
ride for you.
I mean it's definitely intense, man, because I never expected,
Right.
anybody to even find out like my social media, and like all it is on there is my name. It says Dylan.
Well, that's
you know?
that's why I had you take your glasses off.
Yeah,
Because you don't know. You don't.
I
know.
know.
When I
Yeah.
saw
And
it,
my hair is shorter too now, so it's like and it's been 2 years, so I've definitely went from 22 to 24. I could say that.
Awesome, Dillon.
God, that's how
Thank
young
you
he
so
is.
much.
Yeah, I enjoyed
we'll
our
keep-
time.
Yeah, we'll keep chatting, and once the story goes up, I'll make sure you see it.
Yes, and I'm glad I finally got to, speak my side because, everyone has their opinions on certain things, but I feel like I could, give some people some relief on their claims and stuff.
Well, thanks for trusting me with it.
Yep, I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
What? That was so good. Okay, hold on. Let me collect my thoughts for 1 second. Okay, so that was crazy. I'm so this makes me want to watch the whole series again, and I wanted a season 2, and I want a season 2 even more now. This is crazy. I love seeing Dillon's side of things. I really truly think he loves Joe, and he cares about Joe, and to know that the police officer was sitting there, he would let him come eat and raid their fridge, whatever, eat at the house. God, it just shows how good a guy Joe is, how nice a guy. I don't know if good a guy is the right word, but the whole thing is crazy. Free Joe, am I right? I was nervous Joe had corona. Sounds like he doesn't have the coronas, so that's a good thing. Made me nervous, but I don't know. I kind of want to reach out and see if Dillon will let me interview him. I don't know. The whole thing was crazy. This video is going to be super long, so I'm going to keep it super short. Just make sure you watch Tiger King on Netflix. I'm going to have a review for you guys soon. I actually recorded it the other day. I just still have to edit it. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. Tell me all your thoughts down below. I want to know what you think. And thanks to Variety for doing this interview. I'm excited to check it out. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. All that fun stuff. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm at Mama's Geeky over there. MAMASGEEKY. And I don't want to take any more of your time. Thanks for watching this.